as the highly intelligent, low muscularity individual garners more wealth and resources, which is what happened during the last century, then his children then were going to be born with lower testosterone because he had lower testosterone.
Testosterone levels among men are in the lowest recorded in history right now. And,
Sure.
Like my great grandfather in his 60s probably had higher tests than most people have, most men, today in their 40s.
Sure.
So talk about the survival scenario and how we got to that
Yeah.
place in society today.
Okay, so one of the hypotheses is, and this has not actually been proven, there's still studies, there's ongoing documentation for this, but people, especially in the conspiracy theory community, are running wild with this. And that is a combination of pesticides and plastics are causing men to have lower testosterone. I do believe there is something to the idea of us eating more processed foods and being around more synthetics in general, causing our bodies to not function properly, specifically causing us to have less testosterone. I don't know how that fits specifically in evolution, but maybe it does. I'm not saying it's true or it's not true. What I'm saying is that there's no definitive science specifically saying that because you drink out of a plastic water bottle, that's why your testicles shrink. Okay. But there are people who legitimately believe this.
Right.
Just be careful whenever you read those articles.
Right.
What I will say that seems like a much, much more likely scenario to me is that the population of the planet has doubled since the 1950s. And so that's one of the things you have to take into account when you say that people had higher testosterone levels back then than they do now. The second thing is, I would bet you if we were to take a certain cohort, let's just say NFL players in the 1950s and NFL players today, those that are not on steroids, let's just say kickers and kickers, quarterbacks and quarterbacks.
There you go.
I'll bet we're going to find the same levels of testosterone. I'll bet you if we looked at frogmen in the 1970s compared to they were the predecessors to the Navy SEALs today, I'll bet you we're going to find that they actually have the same levels of testosterone. Same thing with recon Marines. I'll bet you in the highest rungs of male performance, we're going to find the same levels of testosterone 50 years ago as we did today. What we're going to find that's different, though, is that the population in general has moved further and further away from the survival scenario. And in this case, what I specifically mean, we can go all the way back 50,000 years where we're legitimately in a survival scenario. Like, if I don't go find food, I'm going to starve. That's a legitimately, most of humanity is living no differently than a homeless person on the street, hunter-gatherer societies. Very differently from that, except they're able to forage food and berries. But because of that, their lifespan is extremely short, because as soon as they have some sort of debilitating injury, their teeth fall out, or they just, for whatever reason, can't perform, they quickly die. That there's that survival scenario. And then we go all the way back to this crazy number I still can't get out of my head, is that before the year 1850, over half the Earth's population died before the age of 5. Life was brutal back then. Life was very much closer to a survival scenario. And if you couldn't cut the mustard, your likelihood of perishing, like, for instance, Stephen Hawking, one of the smartest men who's ever lived, he had motor neuron disorder. And had he had that motor neuron disorder in the 17th century, he would not have been a physicist. In fact, he wouldn't have made it. Right. But today, in the century that he lived in, we were able to recognize him for his incredible intellect, because we are further. He's a great example of us as humanity being further away from the survival scenario. And that's a good thing, by the way. But the thing is, what happens is, as more men of low testosterone, naturally low testosterone, are able to succeed and breed more. So, for instance, the Bill Gates type, right? I'm not trying to say anything specifically. I'm just saying an archetype. Incredibly highly intelligent, not particularly muscular, doesn't spend every day in the gym. That type of individual, as the highly intelligent, low muscularity individual garners more wealth and resources, which is what happened during the last century, then his children then were going to be born with lower testosterone because he had lower testosterone. What happened previously was, it wasn't always this case, but like in the big cities, maybe not so much, but on a farm, the stronger survived. Like, if you are a bigger, stronger farmer, the likelihood of you having a more prosperous farm and then finding a female to breed with was just higher. And the likelihood of you having more children was just higher, period. Society rewarded bigger, stronger, more robust men with having more children, having more mating opportunities. And once the Industrial Revolution happened, then men of lesser stature and lesser testosterone levels started to be able to breed more. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I love Jeff Bezos. I love fucking Elon Musk. I love Bill Gates. those guys are great. I love Warren Buffett. These are not high testosterone individuals. I think all of them deserve to be happy and all of them deserve to have children. But in an epic and say the 1820s, they're just not going to have as much success with women in that period of time than they are today, right?
Right.
And so when you consider that, what happens, what the reason why I believe testosterone levels on average are lower is, like I said, at the highest rungs of society, I bet they're the same. But on the average, why it's lower is because men of lower testosterone have the ability to have more children. And as we know, testosterone levels are genetic. So one of the ways to fix that point, my dad was not a super athlete. My dad played the tuba at Southern Methodist University. I can bench press probably 150 pounds more than my father ever could, right? I've made a choice to change my endocrinology in my favor. And because of it, I date really fucking beautiful women, and I make a lot of money. Like, those are the things that happen because I made the choice to take my endocrinology on my own hands and make it work for me. Right. So those things are true. Our average testosterone levels going down. I don't know necessarily that it's because of the plastics. What I think is instead is men of lower testosterone just have more mating opportunities because of the internet and because of technology and because of industrialization. And men of higher testosterone, they end up working in steel mills, and they end up working, working as engineers and mechanics.
Sure.
And while they have higher testosterone, they're just as likely to go to prison as they are to have kids. And not all of them, but like, when I'm specifically talking about is men of extremely high testosterone, there's some disorders where it actually causes you to have like hyper levels of testosterone. And often we see violent felons in prison having that disorder.